All right. Hello, friends, and welcome back to another exciting episode of The Divine Speaker. Last episode, we had a lot going on for relationships between the characters. And now we are here to figure out what Sylvia wants from us. Something about, like, seeing whether or not we are good at fighting. The line, so I know that this line that's on screen right now was not voiced by Lucius, as you guys heard it. So I'm gonna go back real fast and then go back into this so you guys can hear the line. But like directly before this, we're still in the Ilren Varys scene. So, gonna be a weird cut right here because you guys can't see that. But here we go.
Well, he barely knows his left from his right, so there's no point in fighting him.
Hey, I do too.
Are you sure?
You sure when you're looking at both your hands?
Damn.
Do you expect that to be comforting to me?
Absolutely not.
That's what I'm here for. Fight me instead.
Fine. I'll agree to that. What's going on here?
They're gonna fight.
They're about to fight.
What? Don't put it like that. It's just a friendly bout.
No, they're gonna fight. They're gonna throw hands.
Be careful. I don't want you getting hurt.
She looked away, and I swear I could see a light dusting of pink on her cheeks. From under her cloak, Sylvia pulled out a long silver knife. It glinted in the daylight, and looked as if it was very well taken care of.
Not a bad-looking weapon.
A present from my father.
Okay.
How did you manage to get it here?
Elliot found it after he saved me the first time. He kept it here until my eventual return. Pretty lucky, huh?
It seems so.
In response, Leos pulled out a blade of his own, the one thrown to him by Lucius. I wonder how he managed to find one with Leos's family crest, though. Without giving him any warning, she charged forward with her blade in her left hand, striking outwards towards him. He stumbled back, narrowly missing being cut.
Hey, that's playing dirty!
Come on.
Didn't you tell me that playing dirty during a fight is a good thing?
Shut up!
The two of them went head to head, and I swore I could see sparks flying as their blades scraped against each other. I turned away from them, instead deciding to chat to Morwen, who clapped and cheered on Sylvia beside me.
I didn't know she knew how to fight.
I was surprised too. I think when she decided to leave Toggen by herself to come to Vidis, her parents told her she'd need to know how to defend herself.
Okay, yeah, valid.
Traveling alone up mountains, down valleys, through areas never explored before. It can be very dangerous alone, after all.
That makes sense. She's seriously amazing.
And with her left arm alone, too.
Does that mean something?
What?
Finally, I saw it. She fought using a single arm, and the other, that I thought was covered by her cloak, was, in fact, missing. I've never noticed. Really? Show her to me again.
I see. To take her human body, that's what she lost? Since she drew maps?
Okay, that's interesting. Imagine your soul just, like, enters this body and the arm falls off. Weird.
That's right. Although it's slightly laughable. She just learned to use her left, just as well as she ever used her right.
She's amazing.
Isn't she just?
Morwen smiled behind her gloved hand, glancing towards Sylvia, who still fought Leos with such severity. I wondered if she was aiming for the kill.
You should be proud. He's holding his own against a god.
He should.
He really is incredible.
The two of you made up then?
Yeah, we did.
I'm glad to hear it. Good job, Rain.
Thanks. The fight continued on and on, until both were gasping for breath and exhaustion. Neither was much stronger than the other.
I'm impressed. You're better than I expected, for a human.
Ha! Say that when I win.
There's no need. I believe you've proven your case. I'll come with you to speak to Elliot tonight. That's what this is about?
Oh yeah. Morwen's mouth hung open in surprise.
I wasn't starting a fight for no reason. I wanted to make sure that these people were worth following, that's all. Oh, Sylvia. I knew I could count on you.
Morwen rushed over, her arms finding their way around the taller woman with ease. Sylvia stood as still as a statue, her arm at her side like she couldn't decide if it was okay to hug Morwen back.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. He might not even listen anyway.
I'm sure he'll listen to you.
I know for a fact he'll listen to you.
Morwen looked as if she was ready to spin Sylvia around in her arms, but she finally let go and took a step back. I walked beside Lucius, patting him on the back as he wiped at his brow.
Good job. You looked really cool.
Okay, bye. Two men watched as one by one the rest of their party left, until they were suddenly alone. Okay, this is Emil and Caspian. How long are they going to be? If we have until nightfall, what am I even going to say to him? At first, they stayed in silence. Both had a lot they wanted to say, but neither had the guts to say them. Even though they'd both dreamed of a situation like this, now that it was real, they both hesitated. Eventually, surrounded by an awkward tension, Caspian pointed down the road.
Shall we, take a walk?
If that's what you want.
There was a distance between the two of them that was much more than a physical issue. Both had made mistakes, and both had been stubborn. But neither had forgotten. With a sigh, Caspian kicked at the dirt beneath his feet.
What have I gotten myself into? Gods and speakers, my son I thought long dead. Even you're here. I thought all of this was long behind me, but it's all been thrown back in my face. I suppose I should have expected something like this to happen eventually. The past really hates staying in the past, doesn't it? Sorry, I'm rambling.
Yes, you are.
Damn, Emil. It was tough trying to get any words out of Emil's mouth. It was like he was so shut up in his own head that when he actually responded, Caspian couldn't help but feel excited.
I guess I left my wish for adventure in the past, at least. This is all more than I ever asked for.
You were the one that was obsessed. Isn't this right up your alley?
I wasn't obsessed. I was just bored.
Obsessed.
Bored, but come on, you don't think all of this is crazy?
Obsessed, and yes, it's crazy.
He's not gonna let it go. Emil let out a quiet sigh, suddenly stopping in his tracks. Caspian turned back over his shoulder, and for a split second he swore he saw the young man Emil used to be. He smiled. How could he not?
Watch out!
Oh?
Ugh!
Out of nowhere, something suddenly came flying through the air towards Emil. Without a second thought, Caspian leapt in front of Emil, pushing him out of the way of the incoming projectile. The force was too much, though, and they both fell to the ground with a thud. The item in question fell beside them, a small ball. There.
Phew, that was a close one.
Yes, because I would have simply died if a ball hit me. What would you have done if it was something dangerous?
The same thing.
Emil frowned as if that answer unsettled him for some unknown reason. His face was becoming redder and redder by the second, and Caspian finally noticed their predicament. He hung over the top of his old lover, their bodies closer than they had been in nearly 20 years. He couldn't help but gaze at him as if no time had passed at all. Below him was Emil, his Emil, the Emil he had grown up with, the Emil he had fallen in love with.
Stand up already.
Heck no.
What's wrong, young master speaker? Worried about a little bit of dirt?
Oh, I didn't know Caspian had Riz, okay. Before Caspian had any chance to react, Emil's arms wrapped around him and pulled him in close. He faltered for a moment before hugging him in return. Y'all are so awkward, what the fuck? His hand grasped at Emil tightly. Much taller, broader, bigger than he remembered, yet he was still Emil. The voice that came out of Emil was hard to distinguish, somewhere between a laugh and a cry, like his emotions didn't know how to deal with a situation like this.
Look at me. I'm not young anymore. You know I hate it when you call me that.
You might have grown a little, but you're not so different after all. You'll always be a young master speaker in my heart.
You're as much of a flirt as you were back then.
Maybe that's the only thing that stayed the same then. I'm no leader, no prince. Not anymore.
But maybe I'm still enough for you. Is that wishing for too much?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry for doubting you and not taking your side when you were always on mine. I was wrong. I'm an idiot.
That's okay.
I'm sorry for abandoning you and blaming you for everything when it was my fault.
Caspian tried to shake his head, but he was being hugged so tightly to Emil that he could barely move.
No, I was wrong too. If I'd only made an effort to see it from your point of view, we would have been able to work it out. I know it. Maybe we could start over. Just one more go at getting along. Like we used to. If you'd have me.
Did we really get along back then?
Ish, what the fuck?
Those days are my fondest memories, Emil. Because of you.
I'm just now noticing that Emil wears yellow eyeshadow. Like, I knew the whole yellow makeup thing underneath his eyes. That's kind of hard to not notice, but he just closed his eyes and... You wear yellow eyeshadow too? Interesting. His arms tightened, and Emil buried his face into Caspian's shoulder.
Tell me, how is Arala? I heard from Rain that she runs an orphanage now.
I haven't seen her since she was fired. I was too ashamed to face her.
I always wished I could have at least said goodbye and that I was sorry.
There's still time.
Me too.
There's still time.
Perhaps, if we both survive this, we can go see her together. Are you going to let me go now?
Absolutely not.
Just a little longer.
Ooh. I like that that's what the achievement is called. The sun was finally starting to set on the hidden village. Oh, I thought we were still going with Emil and Caspian, like they just laid there all day. Lucius and I made our way back to find the rest of the group. I felt refreshed, but I could tell Lucius was tired from the fight earlier. Still, he tried to hide it. We were walking the streets when we saw Caspian and Emil up ahead, standing close together, chatting.
Hey, Emil. Now's your chance.
Okay. Caspian nudged Emil, who looked in my direction shyly.
Do you have some spare time?
Me?
Do I seem like I'm speaking to anyone else?
No. I'm just a little surprised that you'd want to talk to me.
I love how much of an asshole he is. Like, I'm sure that he doesn't mean it in that way, but oh my god, I love him so much.
Will you be okay here for a minute?
You better keep your hands off of him.
I won't touch a hair on his head, I promise.
Oh my god. Peter Pan imagery. This one. You know? I don't know the quote word for word. Am I in trouble? He still wants me dead after all? The silence continued onwards until a quiet voice suddenly pierced the air.
I apologize for my prior actions.
Okay.
What?
Are you hard of hearing? I said I'm sorry. I took my anger out on you, and that was wrong. When I looked at you, I still felt the raw sense of betrayal that I thought I put behind me. But that's no excuse.
He's actually apologizing to me?
I accept your apology then. How could I not if you're being sincere?
I love the character development.
Out of jealousy and anger, I faked your judgment and stole away your chance at learning to become a speaker. But it's not too late.
Can I be honest with you?
The male nodded, and I stared at the ground, long and hard.
I'm not sure I want to be a speaker.
I don't think there's a way you can say no, my man.
You're lucky to have the privilege of choice.
Okay. Continue.
Either way, I don't intend to leave you stranded without any knowledge. I'll teach you, if you agree.
You really would?
But I have to tell you the truth. My abilities are difficult to manage, to say the least. They're unusual, amplified to a degree that makes them nearly uncontrollable.
Okay.
Yours, though, I believe are manageable.
I still can't control it at all. What are your abilities anyway?
He put out his hand, and I peered in close. I couldn't see anything.
Look closer.
As I watched the space above his hand, waiting for something miraculously showy to appear, I noticed it. A slight haze over his palm that distorted the air around it. Okay.
Illusions, hallucinogens. Changing one's perception of reality, distorting the line between what's real and what's imaginary.
Which is why nobody can find Aurelia Cavella. Which is weird because you say that you can't control your power, and yet, nobody can find Aurelia Cavella. Do you know you're actively hiding it away from the world? Or is somebody else doing it? I don't...
That's amazing. How does it work?
How amazing it would be if I could tell you, Rain. All I know is it affects the air around me. If you breathe it in, then the hallucinations will affect your mind. Is it useful? Perhaps, if I could master it.
So, what can your hallucinations do?
Hide Aurelia Cavella.
I can cloak myself and remain hidden, or hide objects in plain sight. It creates an air around me that can influence people's views.
And all I can do is hurt myself.
Yippee! Emil shook his head, smiling slightly at the same time.
You've got a powerful gift that can be used for good. I'm almost certain there's more to it than you don't understand.
Okay. From between Emil's layer of clothes, he pulled out a small pocket knife. And then he fucking stabbed Rain. He raised it to the tip of his finger and pricked it.
Try to heal it.
Tentatively, I reached out towards him. When I touched his hand, nothing happened.
It's no good. I'll never be able to control it.
There must be some common link between the times it's activated. Think hard.
With Fawn that one time, then with Ilrin. Neither time I expected to do it.
I think it's always been when I've wanted to help someone, but didn't know what to do. It's never worked when I've wanted it to.
A strong emotional response, and an inner desire to help. To take someone's pain away. Then, close your eyes and picture those moments again. Think of the one you truly love, writhing in pain. Reach out towards them, but don't try to heal. Try to comfort.
If I'm about to get some sappy shit, I swear. In my mind, I saw Lucius. Damn it. Injured from protecting me, needing my help. I reached out, but a blazing light appeared between us. Impenetrable.
It's no good. I can't.
Keep trying. Overcome your obstacles.
I pushed against that light. With my hands, my arms, my entire body. At first, it didn't move an inch. No matter which way I pushed or pulled it, it didn't budge.
Embrace it.
Embrace it? When I stopped pushing, something changed. The light that was once a hard wall, impossible to overcome, softened. Okay, it's Oobleck. I reached out. My hand went right through. I took a step forward and enveloped myself in that light. At that moment, I finally opened my eyes. At the end of my finger was a bead of blood.
Your experience was similar to mine, I take it.
Wall. But...
When you accepted it, it allowed you to pass. I was lucky to have someone to teach me that.
Lucius?
Once upon a time, I truly believed he was a good man. Even now in my mind, it's hard to imagine him any different. He was like a father to me.
Who did you imagine?
Well...
Caspian?
What? No, that's not it.
Even though I heard it from Caspian already, there was something about Emil's reaction that made me instantly flare up too.
It's fine. Don't worry. Caspian, he already told me.
He told you? What did he say about me?
He said, he thought you were the one.
That stupid romantic man. I suppose we should be rejoining the others. It won't be long until darkness falls.
All right. And, thank you, Speaker.
I'm not worthy of that title. Come on, let's go.
We retraced our steps back to where we left Caspian and Leos behind, to find them sitting side by side, chatting quietly.
So you're their son?
I'm sorry.
Don't be. You've already proven you're different to them. Rain's lucky to have you.
Ilrin and Varys approached from the other side, seeming in slightly brighter spirits, and weirdly wet. The skin of their hands was all wrinkly for some reason, like they've been in water for like hours.
You two are getting along again?
Don't be silly. We never fought in the first place.
Uh-huh.
Right. Did anyone learn anything?
Yeah.
Well, that's no matter, because...
I looked to Leos, who finished my sentence.
Because we've convinced Sylvia to help us with Elliot.
You did? I'm amazed.
We'll wait outside for Elliot. Come along.
I feel like I should also tell you guys, because I didn't, the scene with Ilrin and Varys ended, we'll say that, with Varys saying that Ilrin was his soulmate. And therefore that's why they can't be together. They're still not together. Just because we had a scene that I cannot show you between them does not mean anything. It's annoying. Emil led us, to my surprise. When I looked at the faces of our companions, I could tell they were shocked, too. Up until now, he'd mostly followed quietly behind, never speaking up.
What's this? A welcoming party? Didn't I tell you to leave today?
We can't just leave. We need your help.
I've already told you.
From the shadows, Sylvia stood beside our group.
You asked me to make a judgment on them, Elliot. I say that their cause is just, and their need for our help is justified.
I know. You have reasons to doubt us. Trust me, even I doubt myself sometimes, but... For once, I want to do something that will help people, that will save lives.
I can't put all these people at risk.
Please.
But I can bargain with my own life. That's all.
So we're getting one whole person out of this deal? I guess that's fine. We'll take whatever we can get.
Please, we really need... Wait, you'll help us?
Alone. I couldn't ask these people to wage war. I know they would follow me, and it hurts.
From behind Sylvia, another person stepped out. Morwen.
I will come along too. Nothing you can say will stop me.
Sylvia's eyes landed on me before she sighed.
Will this be enough? I can't offer any more.
We will make it enough. Time is of the essence. Anything could have happened in Sidcaeum by now. Do you have a fast way to get there?
Your legs. The 3 village gods nodded and talked amongst themselves for a moment.
I'll carry Morwen to the city on my back. Elliot, you go with the group.
We're leaving right now then?
We've already spent too long here.
You don't need to say that twice.
We've already spent too long here.
That was me doing it.
You don't need to.
With a poof of smoke, an eagle, and a mouse. Sat where Sylvia and Morwen were just standing. A moment later, and they were gone.
Quickly. We'll need to descend the mountain much faster than we climbed it.
We followed suit and raced out of the village. The night air was crisp as we ran through the snow, which was in places knee-deep. Before long, Elliot followed the other gods and changed into a form I wasn't expecting. A huge, white tiger. We bundled up his clothes and kept running. My throat felt tight, and the snow-filled wind whipped against my face. Everything felt numb but ached at the same time. My heart almost felt as if it would burst out of my chest at any moment. Elliot was as swift as a bird, gracefully sprinting through the forest. His white fur at times made him blend in with the snow. His eyes, however, couldn't be hidden. The trip was much faster than last time. My injury didn't hold me back, and before long, the gates of Sidcaeum were in view.
No guards.
There weren't any when you left, either.
If they're safely locked up in their homes, fine. But if they've been harmed...
Before I could turn around to notice, Elliot had regained his human form and was freshly dressed.
Let's enter.
With a nod, we passed through the gilded gates. Everything was quiet. It was the middle of the night, so it was to be expected, but something felt different. It almost felt like Oxaber, a deathly quiet, one that made you feel on edge, as if something evil was waiting around every corner. Just as I was scanning around the area, 2 women approached us.
Can you feel it?
A powerful, all-encompassing presence. Did you find where he's hiding?
With this gaudy show of power, I don't think you can call it hiding.
We know where he'll be anyway, don't we? He didn't take that body for no reason. Let's get to the palace.
Okay.
So that was his goal. To use the royalty as a puppet. To start a holy war. He's even stronger than the last time we met. I fear for the townspeople.
It's so empty. Not just physically, but I've lived here for nearly 18 years. It's never felt like this before.
Caspian.
But we can do it. Maybe a little adventure will do me good.
You haven't lost it after all.
Sign. Vaughn.
There's no point in dawdling here. Let's go.
Where guards would usually stand watching over the palace, there was none. The gates laid open, almost inviting us in. We exchanged glances between us. None of us had a good feeling, but there was little choice but to push onwards. Our steps echoed through the huge, gaudy room. It was dark, only the moonlight lit the interior. I never thought I'd find myself in a palace, and especially not under these circumstances.
He's close.
Do we have a plan? Even when I sparred with Sylvia, I barely held my own, and if he's so much more powerful...
I think you can take that as a no.
Damn, okay.
Then our only option is to overwhelm him.
That's right.
As we all quietly chatted, soft footsteps approached from an unknown direction. They got closer and closer until...
Sign! Vaughn!
Are they still bad, Rain? You might want to pause. Okay, they're zombies. Vaughn's sleeping. He just snored.
Guys, snap out of it!
When I rushed forward towards them, Varys blocked me with his arm.
They won't hesitate to hurt you as they are right now.
I've never seen such precise control.
The power of a speaker, amplified by the power of a god. He's terrifying.
Keep going. I'll deal with these two.
Okay.
Ilron!
Come on, have some faith in me. You think I can't hold my own against the shorty and the forest boy?
Don't be reckless.
To be fair, the forest boy could probably beat you up, but...
I wouldn't dream of it.
Cass?
I'll stay behind too.
Okay.
Why?
I don't have the power to fight gods like all of you. All the passion in the world won't change that. Kicking a few kids' asses? Well, that I can do.
Caspian, those are our friends. No. A look of worry and longing passed over Emil's face, but he clamped his mouth shut and nodded solemnly.
Don't die, you hear me? We have too much catching up to do.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Fawn and Sign moved to block us as we passed, but a kick from Elrin and their attention was diverted. Varys' face was blank, but there was a stream of emotions passing over him. Under that, I could tell. We passed through a corridor and came out in another large room. In it were cages. At first I thought they were empty, but as we approached, we saw masses moving inside of them. They were so tightly wedged that their faces pressed into the bars, and their bloodshot eyes all shot towards us.
Humans. And gods. His meals.
How could he do so much in such a short amount of time?
He's been planning this for far too long. Perhaps since before he died.
A shadow flung out of a dark corner and pounced, and our weights combined skidded across the polished floor.
Hey!
Hey.
Get off of me! We're here to help you.
The weight suddenly left my body as Leos picked up whoever had pounced on me and threw them onto the cold, stone floor.
Keep your filthy hands off of him!
I looked up at Leos, who stood above me. He scowled in the direction of the person, and they scampered off into the darkness. Carefully, he held out his hand and helped me to my feet. Before letting go, I made sure to squeeze it gently, and thanks. I peered into the darkness, squinting my eyes to see.
They're everywhere. In every doorway, every shadow.
So remember how we said the plan was to outnumber them?
What are they?
They used to be people. People Lucius's control was too powerful for, and now they're broken.
Interesting. So, terrible plan. When Lucius dies, because surely we're going to defeat him, right? And his power over them snaps. If they're broken, they're not going to be themselves anymore, right? So, sacrifices, and all the gods in our party can power up? I mean, you'll be demons, but to be fair, there's not really a lot of difference between a god and a demon.
What better use for delirious, maddened husks of flesh than as guard dogs?
If he wasn't already expecting us, he is now.
How will we pass them?
Sylvir, Morwen, you're with me. We'll clear the way and take out anyone that comes after you, then free the people in the cages.
Hopefully that's okay and they don't come to attack you.
We'll find you as soon as possible. Be safe, my children.
We can't waste the time they're giving us. Come on, quickly!
And then there were three. Through another doorway, and finally, we came out in a grand chamber. A throne sat on the opposite end of the room. On it, leaning back with his legs propped up, was Lucius in all his glory.
Wow, you actually made it all the way here? I'm impressed.
Thank you, we tried really hard.
Oh, but you're missing a few. Well, a couple of people sacrificed along the way is no big deal. Just getting rid of the weak links, right?
We have no weak links.
Oh, you know, the green-haired one. Talks big, but he has nothing to back it up. Don't worry, My underlings will deal with him. I can't promise a quick death, though.
Ignore him. He gets off on getting to people, obviously.
Ouch, Lucius, you wound me. Well, you're not wrong.
Okay, a villain who can, see his, I don't know, his low points, his weak points, his personality traits.
I must say, I'm very disappointed in you. I thought you would have followed my commands.
Thanks, but no thanks. I have no intention of working with you.
Throw away the only thing you're good at, and what will be left? No one changes that easily.
I forgot that Emil is still with us, so it's 4 against 1. Haha.
That's not for you to decide.
It's time for this to end. Just stand down, and we won't have to hurt you.
I'm sure that's gonna work, Rain. His laugh echoed through the room, bouncing off of every surface.
Me? Stand down? If this is a joke, it's not a very funny one.
It's no joke. It's time to end this, Lucius.
Oh, if it isn't my puppet, the young master speaker himself.
That's mean.
You have no right to call me that. Not anymore.
Do you think that all of your sins will be forgiven if you stand on their side? No matter what you do, you can't change.
I can try.
Alright, damn. Good.
Perhaps I can make you a place at my side, if you beg.
Never again will I allow myself to be used by you.
Really? Even after the way Caspian betrayed you, you'd stand against me?
Caspian did nothing wrong. I know the truth. I know what you did.
Boring. You become exceedingly like him. How revolting. So full of youthful spirit and adventure. Utterly sickening.
We've brought others. If we have to fight, then we will.
Let me get this straight. I'm meant to be afraid of a washed-up old man, a powerless god, an ex-assassin, and someone that barely knows his left from right?
What's up with all the people who think that Rain doesn't know his directions?
I'm shaking.
What part do you not understand? We won't sit idly by as you rip away humanity's freedom.
Humans don't want freedom. They want someone strong to look up to, someone that they can blindly follow. I'm just filling that gap.
Your view is clouded by a lifetime of solitude in Aurelia Cavella. These people don't wish for a dictator. They wish to continue their life in peace.
Then their mindset needs to be corrected.
Like the mind-broken people you have scampering about?
He shrugged. His face, which up until now had been mocking, became blank.
Who will miss a few people?
They...
I'm growing tired of this. You mean to lecture me?
Yeah.
You have no right to do this!
I have every right. The world I'll create will have no need for speakers. We will walk freely among my people, and they will bow down to us. But it doesn't have to be alone, Leos. I can see it in your eyes. We're the same. Join me.
Funny joke.
Silence came from Lucius.
Oh, you serious? No, thanks, I'm good.
I reached forward and took his hand. He looked back at me and smiled before facing Lucius again.
Love really does ruin everything, doesn't it? You know, I was just thinking I could use a stretch.
He stood from the throne, his heels clacking on the marble floor as he descended towards us. It sounded like he only took 2 steps, so we're 2 steps away from him, I'm here now. Lucius lifted his hands and clicked, and out of a thin air, a long, thin weapon appeared from nowhere. It glowed as if it were alive.
What is that?
Pure strength. A combination of many souls, all poured into a single vessel.
How can you tell?
Why would you ask if you weren't going to accept the answer?
It's the same thing he injured Ilron with before.
My hand absent-mindedly found the wrapped wound on my shoulder. The injury I took from Ilron.
Not only can you control people, You can conjure something like this?
A god's power can be limitless, but they're too afraid to wield it.
You took off your jacket. You feel naked now.
Because to wield so much power goes against everything we exist for. To kill and consume, to pillage and murder. You're a monster, not a god.
I'm not really one for labels, you know.
Damn, okay. He spun the lance through the air, catching it with ease before pointing it in our direction with a smile on his face that would haunt me forever.
Who wants to go first?
Me. Under his breath, Varys muttered a few words to us.
Use this as a chance to read his movements and form a plan.
Okay, damn, sacrifice.
Wait, Varys!
It is my role as a god to protect humans. That has not changed, and will never change. Even if it should cost me my life, then I will happily give it away if it means protecting the ones I love.
Don't waste your breath.
Before Varys even had the chance to think, Lucius sprung forward, his weapon poised and ready to strike. He barely managed to stumble to the side and out of harm's way when Leos yelled out towards him.
Take this!
One of his spare daggers clattered over the marble floor towards Varys. Hearing it coming, he leant down to scoop it up before holding it out towards Lucius. Lucius gave him no time to retaliate. His attacks came in a never-ending wave as he descended upon Varys, unrelentingly. Varys was strong. I knew that. I'd seen it firsthand with Nox. But Lucius was something else entirely. Monster would be a good description. I tensed up, desperately wanting to run to his side to help him, but Leos held my hand tightly, keeping me from running into the fray.
He's giving us a chance to learn. Watch carefully.
You are no speaker, Lucius. I am. Rain is. You're a hollow reflection of what you're meant to be.
After all you put the boy through, now you think of yourself as his mentor?
He will become everything that we couldn't.
Damn, okay, nice. Their fighting continued, but Varys was very quickly becoming overwhelmed. He dodged and parried, but never found the chance to strike with his make-do weapon.
Everything that you couldn't. I've made it further than any speaker has before me.
From my point of view, you've fallen further.
What?
Speaker's job is to protect their people, not to rule over them. You failed in your duties.
As if you know anything about being a speaker.
I might not know much, but I can at least tell right from wrong, which you seem to have trouble with.
He can't tell his left from his right, but he can tell his right from his wrong. With a frown, Lucius kicked Varys away and flicked his wrist. The lance, which suddenly seemed like a beam of light, shot out towards him. The chandelier, which hung high up on the ceiling, swayed mercilessly. Blood dripped down onto the marble floor from where Varys was pinned through the shoulder to the wall. Ouch, my dude.
Varys!
He reached up, desperately clawing at the lance, but he couldn't pull it out. Before I could move to help, in a few strides, I was at Varys' side. I reached up to remove the lance.
Leave it, Rain. It's no mere weapon. Even touching it burns. I'll be no help like this. Go back to the others.
No, you can't die. Not yet. We have too much left to do. The gods!
Honestly, I'm not worried, but I understand that Rain is. He gave me a soft smile, one that was meant to calm others, I'd learned.
This is far from the worst injury I've ever had. I just don't want to drag you down. You don't have to worry about me. And I would never abandon Ilron anyway.
Before my eyes, his mouth formed a perfect O, as if he'd suddenly realized something.
I never thought I'd say this, but I think I preferred you two when you were chatty.
It's no use. They're pretty much zombies.
A little thrashing will wake them up.
Elrin jumped to the side, narrowing, missing a blow.
And if it doesn't?
Then we keep going anyway. I have too much to protect for this to end here.
With a kick, Fawn went skidding along the ground. Caspian cracked his knuckles and looked towards the sign.
Another one for me.
Varys, stay safe. Please, don't do anything stupid.
Let's see if you can keep up, old man.
I'll hold them here for as long as it takes, if it means you'll come back safely.
What? Old man?
Anyway, I turned away from Varys to my dismay and saw Emil and Leos both charge at Lucius. He twirled his lance around, easily keeping his distance. A smile stayed plastered to his face. He thought this was fun. A game he was easily winning. Emil made eye contact with Leos and motioned for him to take his attention, which Leos easily did.
Is this the best you can manage? I expected more.
For a moment, I thought I could see beneath his facade, and his smile faltered, but it quickly came back as strong as ever.
Why bother doing all of this? Why not use your powers for good?
Okay, bye. There was no incantation or anything showy. Emil just vanished from sight. Around me, I noticed a slight shimmer. His fog. It's how his illusions work, isn't it? He hadn't really disappeared or gone anywhere, he was just tricking our minds.
Because the world betrays those that try to do good.
I don't know that that's going to work against, your literal actual teacher, but good job trying.
Emil, I see you've been working on your party tricks. It's just too bad that they won't work on me.
Lucius's hand shot out, and Emil reappeared, his throat being crushed in an iron grip. Damn. Yeah.
You think to use the very powers I trained you in to kill me? What part of your tiny brain told you that that would be a good idea? I know everything about you. From the memories that you wish to keep buried away, to the thoughts you wish you could forget. Nothing you do could surprise me.
Let him go!
I leapt at them, desperate to free Emil, but Lucius didn't jump to the side or try to dodge. He simply raised his arm and grasped my throat, too. Alright, cool. 2 hands full of throat.
A speaker for each hand. Well, isn't this charming?
I clawed at his icy fingers, but they dug in deeper. An alarm bell sounded throughout my entire body, and I gasped for air, desperate to breathe, but nothing reached my lungs. It felt like my throat would collapse in on itself at any moment. It didn't feel like a human hand, it felt like a clamp, unmovable. Lucius stared into my eyes, and I into his. Sup? They were dark, uncaring, empty. I'm going to die.
This would be too easy, wouldn't it?
Okay. You're gonna save us solely because you're bored?
Don't worry. Neither of you will die here. Oh no. It will be far more painful than this.
Okay.
Emil
and I crashed into the ground with enough force to feel our bones rattle, but our pain was nothing compared to the bitter fury that radiated from Lucius, who fell to the ground, in a heap only a short distance away from us. Over him stood Leos, his weapon drawn. With ease, he'd kicked out Lucius's legs from under him. That's dirty. Not giving him a chance to recover, Leos dived towards him, but Lucius rolled to the side and quickly jumped back to his feet.
I bet you thought that was pretty clever.
I liked it, to be fair. And the mask was gone. His voice had become a growl, the smile wiped from his face.
I'm impressed with myself, actually. Thanks for noticing.
I think I've had enough of these games. It's time to make you beg for mercy.
Okay.
Me? Good luck. I'm not much of a beggar.
Really? Then let's see what you have to say about this.
He scooped up his weapon from the ground, where it lay discarded after he'd fallen, and with a snap of his wrist, it came flying at me. Oof! There was no time to think. I raised my arms to cover my face and braced for an impact that never came. Oh no.
Emil! The world depends on you, Rain. Don't falter.
Wait!
He crumpled to the ground in front of me, the mark from Lucius's tight hold on his throat still visible.
Oh, he's such a fool. You'd risk your life for this brat? You never were fit to be speaker.
I almost expected Lucius to spit in Emil's direction. I dropped to the ground and finally managed to flip him over as Leos charged towards Lucius and restarted their fight. With a flick of his wrist, the lance returned to his hand, ripping from Emil's body. I put my head to his chest. He was still breathing. Not far from me, Leos and Lucius went head to head, their blades sparking as they clashed against each other. We can't win. Can we? Nothing we can do will be enough. Both Emil and Varys are so much stronger than us, so how are we meant to win? Don't falter, Rain. With those words in my mind, I stood from the ground, leaving Emil behind. Leos crashed to the marble floor, skidding all the way to my feet. Hey.
Leos!
I'm fine. Don't worry.
He said he was fine, but it was obvious that the pain was starting to get the better of him. He gritted his teeth as I pulled him up beside me. His body was covered in cuts and bruises, and I could tell he was tired already.
And then there were two. Isn't this nice?
I have an idea.
Okay.
Anything will do.
You're not gonna like it.
I kind of felt it.
Look up there.
He nodded discreetly, and I noticed the chandelier above us. The same one that had shook wildly when Varys had been pinned to the wall. Yeah, I mean, I noticed it too. You're gonna hit him with a chandelier? You're gonna Phantom of the Opera him?
We wouldn't want an accident to happen, would we? It's so old it could fall any day now. So we best bring it down before it can hurt anyone.
Mm-hmm.
How?
Somehow I feel like this isn't going to work.
I'll lead him under and keep him there. And bait him to throw his lance at me. It'll hurt, but you need to pick it up and throw it as hard as you can.
You're gonna get crushed by the fucking chandelier, my dude.
What if you get caught under there too?
Oh, there's no question.
Well, it won't be very pleasant.
Uh-huh.
This is a stupid plan.
I think I've probably spent too much time around you then.
Thanks. I couldn't help the frown that rose to my face. I wanted to fight against that idea with all my might, but not a single other plan came to mind.
Fine, but you better be careful, okay?
Oh, when am I not?
Right now?
Done with your final goodbyes? Don't worry, Leos. I'll allow you this much.
Thank you. Leo strode forward, standing under the dangling chandelier, throwing his dagger up into the air before catching it again.
Me? Shouldn't you be the one giving your goodbyes? Oh wait, that's right. You don't have anyone to say goodbye to. How sad.
He visibly gritted his teeth and charged. Their fight was gritty, near animalistic. All the fake charm from Lucius was gone, and it was replaced with a burning hatred. Leos danced away from his strikes, egging his anger on, until he was near bursting.
Watch as the one you love dies in front of your very eyes!
I dove to the ground, and the lance narrowly missed my body.
Right now!
Just touching the weapon burnt my hand, the pain nearly unimaginable. But I stood fast anyway. I held it towards the chandelier. Jeez.
You know, I can't help but feel sorry for you.
Oh?
You've given me a chance to do something you could never do. Be a speaker and protect my people.
You, a speaker?
He scoffed at me, and Leos pulled out his whip and wrapped it around Lucius's ankle, dragging him down to the ground. Caspian ducked to the ground, narrowly missing being punched square in the jaw. He dashed away, drawing the attention of Fawn back to himself.
Jeez, why won't they stay down?
They're being mind-controlled.
Because he's not even awake to begin with. Hell, I wouldn't even call him alive while he's like this. He's a hunk of meat following commands.
Even hunks of meat should know their limit.
Elrin circled around, eyes glaring at his target.
At the very least, when we go back to the group unscathed, I can brag to Leos about how much cooler than him I am.
Okay.
You really are a piece of work.
Don't tell me you're not enjoying this.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't terrified.
You're scared of those twerps? Really?
I'm scared that I'll never see a meal again.
That's valid. Because he got fucking shot. A sudden scream pierced the air. Caspian and Elrin faced the door the others went through, scared what was happening.
Is the one you love in there too?
Yes.
The one that means more to me than anything.
We better hurry up then.
Okay. I was like, if you don't put me back in that room, I'm gonna scream. The air almost crackled as the beam-like blade flew through the air, landing square on its mark. It all happened in an instant, oh boy. It crashed to the ground, rubble and debris flying in every direction. I dove down to cover Emil, the room a cloud of white. And then it was silent. No yelling or screaming, no sounds of fighting, nothing. I peered through the debris, desperate for a sign of Leos. I think Lucius is gonna stand back up. I don't think it's gonna hit him.
Leos?
Oh, fuck. I think I hit my head.
I think a lot worse things would have happened to you, but okay. I jumped to my feet and ran towards that voice, and it finally came into view. Lucius, pinned to the ground under the chandelier, couldn't move a muscle, but his eyes still trailed towards me. Leos laid on the ground not far away, a line of blood running down his head. I wanted to rush to his side, but I paused as Lucius raised his voice.
You might have gotten me this time, but I'll be back.
It's an interesting face, okay?
No, you won't. There won't be any next time for you.
I can't. There's absolutely no way you won that fight by...
What, no one told you? A speaker's soul is just a reborn god's, you know.
What?
So, with the knowledge that this is the second time I've been born as a god, and I'm a speaker, well, I feel like I've got a pretty good chance at having another try.
That's why we can speak to them.
Bingo! Maybe you weren't so dim after all.
Interesting. Okay, lore in the middle of this fight.
Then, our abilities are just a weak manifestation of our prior powers?
What a good disciple you would have made. Think of it as a whisper of what you would have been capable of before.
With any luck, my soul will come back one day too. I wouldn't say no to another try at being a speaker.
You deserve to rot.
I already have a body rotting in the ground. What's another one?
He coughed and spluttered, and finally was quiet.
Is it over?
You did it.
Absolutely no fucking way. I couldn't stop the tears from running down my face. I skidded over the marble flooring to where Leos half sat up and held him tightly. And with that, I think I'm going to end this episode here. I cannot believe that was the way that you kill Lucius? Absolutely no way. Like, that felt like it should have been a bigger battle. I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. But, you know, we're at an hour of recorded footage, so we should probably end the episode eventually, and this seems like a pretty okay place. We're in a little bit more downtime. You know, everybody's hurt, but we'll fix that up probably. I don't know how to feel. On one hand, good that it's over. On the other hand, I feel like it shouldn't be. But I'm going to end this episode here. So, thank you for watching this episode. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one for, you know, the healing after all this. I'm sure there's more that we have to deal with afterwards. Just in general, another episode of The Divine Speaker.